Hello, welcome to B20 South Africa. My name is Kes Kuvadia, and I have the honor of serving as the B20 Sherpa. B20 South Africa brought together voices from across the global business community in 8 task forces, each composed of business leaders, entrepreneurs, academics, and civil society experts. Since the beginning of the year, these change makers have been united by a shared commitment to inclusive and sustainable growth. This moment is historic as we prepare for the first ever African-led G20 summit. We carry a deep responsibility to ensure that Africa's voice is not only heard, but heeded as the world sets its economic priorities. Business has a vital role to play. We know that progress is built not in isolation, but through collaboration by working together across borders, sectors, and perspectives. The mission of each task force was clear: to craft bold, practical, and business-driven policy recommendations that will be presented to the G20. Let us begin with a task force that speaks to the very foundation of economic resilience: employment and education. Chaired by Paul Henretti, CEO of Sanlam, this group is tracking the urgent challenge of preparing our societies for the future of work, ensuring that opportunity, dignity, and skills are within reach of all.
The Employment and Education Task Force developed recommendations that reflect the perspectives of the global business community, aimed at strengthening labour markets, expanding access to skills and education, and advancing inclusive economic growth across the G20. We focused on 6 key thematic areas: promoting a business-led agenda for job creation and labour market participation, increasing female labour force participation, advancing a flexible approach to platform work and the gig economy, equipping citizens early on through early childhood education, connecting youth to earning opportunities, and empowering lifelong demand-led skilling.
Our next task force covered the critical areas of trade and investment. Let us hear now from our chair, Busi Mabuza.
Across the world, businesses are operating in a time of rising trade uncertainty, fragmented value chains, and growing environmental pressures. Our task force focused on advocating for open markets in general and the acceleration of the African Continental Free Trade Area in particular. We also aimed to foster stability in global trade, revive multilateralism, and promote the development of a climate-responsive trade architecture. A key objective was developing initiatives to empower small and medium-sized enterprises by improving their access to financing, international markets, and value chains.
Our third B20 task force, chaired by Nedbank chairperson Daniel Minele, addresses one of the most urgent challenges of our time: driving a just, sustainable, and inclusive energy transition.
As the Energy Mix and Just Transition Task Force, we delivered actionable recommendations based on 4 key thematic areas. These included finding a balance between sustainability and energy security, effectively mobilizing sustainable energy transition finance, accelerating industrialization across the energy value chain, and expanding and modernizing energy infrastructure. At the heart of our work is the belief that energy security, economic competitiveness, and environmental responsibility must be pursued together and not in isolation.
The fourth of our 8 B20 South Africa task forces is focused on one of the most powerful levers of change: digital transformation. From connectivity and innovation to data governance and digital inclusion, their work is shaping the policies that will define how technology serves people, businesses, and societies in the years ahead. This task force is led by Phuthi Mahanyele Dabengwa, Executive Director of Naspers Limited, a respected voice in Africa's digital economy.
In an increasingly connected world, digital technologies can be a powerful driver of inclusive growth. Our recommendations as the Digital Transformation Task Force covered 4 key thematic areas: expanding tech access for economic growth, addressing the digital skills gap and digital literacy, ensuring access to high-quality, modern, affordable, and reliable internet, and establishing a way forward around AI ethics and regulation.
While financial systems remain a cornerstone of global progress, the Finance and Infrastructure Task Force placed economic inclusion at the heart of its agenda, recognizing that prosperity must be both shared and sustainable. The task force was led by Sim Shabalala, CEO of the Standard Bank Group.
Our overarching objective as the Finance and Infrastructure Task Force was to identify actionable recommendations that can be taken forward by the G20 and other key stakeholders to help close the global infrastructure gap. Our recommendations were shaped by the following themes: unlocking long-term investment, increasing the availability and efficiency of public and private investment, supporting the expansion of investable infrastructure projects, ensuring that infrastructure investments are sustainable, and reducing the cost of capital through partnerships with development finance institutions and other multilateral institutions.
No economy can thrive without trust, and trust begins with responsible business conduct. That is why the Integrity and Compliance Task Force, led by Rueda Redfern, CEO of Deloitte Africa, has taken on the critical challenge of combating corruption and strengthening ethical standards across sectors.
Corruption can undermine public trust, stifle growth, distort markets, and deter investment. The Integrity and Compliance Task Force focused on developing actionable proposals to help strengthen compliance systems, expand cross-border cooperation, and harness technology to detect and prevent misconduct. The recommendations were shaped by 3 key themes: leveraging technology in integrity and anti-corruption measures, strengthening integrity embedment in climate and sustainability finance systems, and amplifying collective action and integrity standards for inclusive growth.
The 7th of our 8 B20 South Africa task forces turns its attention to one of the most urgent and universal challenges of our time: building sustainable food systems and advancing agricultural resilience. With over 8.2 billion people sharing this planet, ensuring access to safe, nutritious and affordable food is not just a moral imperative, it is a strategic necessity for global stability and development. Leading this vital conversation is Task Force Chair Deborah Malowa, Head of Africa at Bayer.
Agriculture fuels economies, from first light in the fields to busy market stalls to the meals that bring us together. But today, it is under pressure from climate shocks, volatile prices, and fragile supply chains. Our work in the Sustainable Food Systems and Agriculture Task Force is about building inclusive, future-ready food systems through innovation, investment, and cross-border cooperation. Our recommendations to the G20 are clear: strengthen the resilience of agri-food supply chains, enhance access to productivity inputs and technologies, promote inclusive and equitable livelihoods, integrate intra- and inter-regional trade into broader strategies for food security, and accelerate the adoption of resilient and adapted agricultural innovations in food value chains.
Finally, we arrive at the 8th B20 South Africa Task Force, focused on industrial transformation and innovation. Chaired by Andrew Kirby, CEO of Toyota South Africa, this task force tackled one of the defining questions of our era: how can industry evolve to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world?
Manufacturing powers economies, creating jobs, building skills, and driving growth. Yet too many industries remain in low-value production, held back by fragmented value chains and slow adoption of new technologies. The Industrial Transformation and Innovation Task Force is focused on changing that through tech-led growth, stronger value chains, and sustainable future-ready manufacturing. Our recommendations to the G20 are clear. Co-create industrial strategies with business to align plans with real market needs. Strengthen value chains and open inclusive pathways into industrial jobs. And accelerate the adoption of sustainable, advanced manufacturing with the right incentives and delivery models.
These are the 8 B20 South Africa task forces, each one tackling a critical pillar of global economic progress. Their recommendations reflect months of collaboration and expertise, and they open the door to conversations that shape meaningful change. We are proud to share this work with you. But more than that, we are eager to engage, because this is not just a presentation, it is a dialogue, and it is one that matters. We stand at a pivotal crossroad. We have the opportunity to shape a more inclusive, resilient, and forward-looking global business landscape, one that serves not only markets, but the communities we live in and the people we represent. Let us seize this moment with purpose and unity.